What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to another portfolio update. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Hope you guys are doing okay after this bloody day in the markets. If you guys have any questions, just put them down in the comments. I appreciate you guys smashing the like button, and be sure to subscribe if you have not already. Today's video, I'm going to cover the stock account. I'm going to cover the big sale that I made. I'm going to cover what I'm looking at for tomorrow, because tomorrow will definitely be some buying going on. All right, so down 1.5 today for negative $4,089. A very volatile day in the market in my portfolio. So here's the positions from largest to smallest for today's movers. We got Amazon down 2.6, Microsoft down 3.4, Tesla down 13%, Enphase basically keeping us alive over here on a ventilator, an Enphase ventilator. Enphase up 12%, Palantir down 8.5, Shopify down 4.8, CrowdStrike down 3.6, Meta down 5%, Riot down 2%. Cash is sitting at 4,200. Didn't make any moves in this particular account. I will get to the big moves later on. All right, let's look at this. So I wanted to share one caveat with you guys. You know that my favorite strategy for entries and exits is the 530 strategy, 5-minute chart, 30-minute EMA. So obviously looking to add to my CrowdStrike position. So I was watching like a hawk, following my rule this morning all the way down, not even close to breaking above EMA. And when we finally did break above EMA, which would have been 2 closing green candles, which would have been right here. So I was watching it like an absolute hawk. And then I remembered the only caveat to this strategy is there can be some exceptions if you have obvious signs of support and resistance. So looking at this chart, most of you will be able to see very clearly there's an obvious sign of resistance right here. So even though we got 2 green candles, you can see that both green candles ran up to this support and got rejected twice in a row. So that made me literally just watch this chart like a hawk for the rest of the day, because I didn't follow the normal rule, which would have been to enter right here, which still would have been way better than entering up here, at the open of the day. But it saved me from getting in at 264, and now we're sitting at 258 at the close. So that's one thing to keep in mind, is if you have an obvious position or like resistance line that's very clear in that chart, which was right here, just give it another few minutes to see if it will in fact break that resistance or not. So just thought I would point that out to you guys. I will most definitely be buying CrowdStrike tomorrow. Not most definitely, most likely. I'm hoping it has maybe like a 2% gain to come back to like some sideways action. Right now it's still downtrending, and so I'm gonna still hold off, still be patient, still be disciplined, still follow my rules. So I have not bought the dip yet, but it is coming soon, I promise. Probably tomorrow, so we will see. As far as today's big sale, it's not going to show on here because this one you have to actually manually update, because it is it's not an actual brokerage, but we'll do that later on. But I sold out of all my Ethereum. So I sold 10,700 of Ethereum. It shows 10,493 here, but I sold it earlier in the day. So basically the thought process here, so the account's sitting at 107,000. The thought process behind the sale is that what I'm seeing, and you can clearly see it here, Ethereum's down 4%, Solana's up 2%, and this is the second day of Ethereum having its own ETF on the stock market. So in my opinion, this is Solana's time to shine when it comes to, basically each cycle has different narratives, and I believe that this particular cycle, Solana is going to, I don't know if it'll pass Ethereum in market cap, but I think in an overall percent gain, it's going to outperform Ethereum. And so basically, with Ethereum only having $10,000 in it, and I know I'm not going to add to it, and Solana is showing much more strength right now than Ethereum. I'm going to put the 10,000 into Solana on the next dip, or if we start breaking all-time highs on Bitcoin, then I'll go ahead and put that 10,000 into Solana at that point. So I'm either going to wait for the next Solana dip, or once we break resistance, I will put it into Solana at that point. Still considering the most likely scenario of putting all the Bitcoin. So the other scenario I was considering today is just putting all the Bitcoin into Ethereum. I know yesterday I said Solana, but it will at least give a little bit more stability than just going full-blown into Solana. I still feel comfortable with Solana, but maybe Bitcoin has a 2x, Ethereum has a 3.5 to 4x, and a Solana has a 5 to 6x. So I wouldn't be missing out on a lot by going into Ethereum with the Bitcoin money, but that is currently the plan. I don't see a world where Bitcoin rallies and Solana and Ethereum do not rally substantially more than it. So I don't see it as something that's like super, super risky. So that's the plan there. Looking at the portfolio, Echelon Prime, if it gets down to like 720 or so, I'm going to add to that one, and then we'll be adding to Brett as soon as, basically the meme coins are going to trade obviously with the overall crypto. So when I feel that Bitcoin's bottoming out and making a reversal, that is when I'll add to Brett. But the Brett position, I just want to clarify, because someone did put in the comments of yesterday's video, like, how do you buy Brett? Obviously, I do think it's going to 10x at a minimum. I just want to clarify and emphasize, because nobody does this, especially in crypto, like, keep your position size small. It's something that could go to zero. I don't think that's going to happen, but I'm going to put about $5,000 into Brett, which in the overall portfolio size is only about 1.5% of the portfolio. So it can go to zero and it's not going to hurt me. So keep that in mind. I'm looking at today's options, or today's update on the current options. Celsius, we're now down 72%. Just cannot find any support for Celsius. DraftKings still looking good with our strangle. DraftKings is at $35, and we have a 33 and a 43. So I might end up having to roll that call down. Enphase, we're now down on the 105 calls, but still have about 3 weeks for that, so I'm not going to touch that one yet. Palantir, we are now in the green, 30% on the $30 calls, and we're only down 10% on the 24 calls, and we are down a lot, obviously, on the 18 calls. So that's turning around nicely. Nothing on Riot. Shopify, we're up 99%. Just gonna let that one expire. $67 on Friday. And then SoFi, still got these $6 calls, which we're down on $232, but I don't see those being challenged. And then Tesla, so it's pretty crazy. The 215 calls, I mean, it came all the way back down from, was it 250 or 260, all the way back down to now my calls are out of the money. So that's super good. They expire this Friday. I do think there's a chance they'll still expire in the money, so I'm going to roll these to 220 no matter what. But if it's in the money and if it's out of the money and I can wait until Friday to do so and just milk all of that extrinsic value, then that's what I'll go ahead and do. And the 205 puts now are coming closely, to being challenged, so I'll just keep a closer eye on that one. Let's see. The Robinhood portfolio, hindsight's always 20/20. I still feel fine about my decision not to close these out yesterday. The Meta put credit spreads were up like 20%, and the Amazon put credit spreads were up like 35%, and now those are down 9%, and what was this one, 40%. So if these were just regular cash secured puts, if these were regular cash secured puts, yes, I would have closed those out yesterday. But because my risk is defined, I don't really care about these as much, and 35% was only like a few bucks. So, I'm more comfortable letting these either like ride or die, like all the way up or just go to zero. Not go to zero, but I'll let these go, break my traditional rules, let these go to 75% or more before I close them out, as opposed to like, if they go up 30% in a day, then close them out. So we're now down on the SoFi Leaps again. BITX was flat today, still up 6%. I don't like riding positives into negatives. So if this comes down in like the after hours in the middle of the night or something to like being up like 2% or something, I'll go ahead and close that out. I can always get back in, but I don't like going from being up on a position to negative. It just feels irresponsible. Chipotle had a wild day. It was a huge pop up on earnings, like wow, 15%. And now we're pretty much flat, so I don't know what happened there. Nike's down at historical support, so we'll see if it can hold above 70. PayPal was looking tempting for some puts today, so I'll probably end up doing those tomorrow. So even here you can see like Ethereum down 3.6 and Solana's up 1.3. What you would typically see, and I have these listed from like obviously Bitcoin, the largest market cap, and then down on the line, what you typically would see is Bitcoin holds up the strongest, and then you would get down 3%, and then you would expect Solana to be down 5%, Doge to be down 7%, and so on and so forth. But Solana is showing extreme strength in the midst of a sell-off, so that's why I decided to cash out the Ethereum for Solana, and then considering putting all the Bitcoin into Ethereum. XRP, like I said, still conspiratorial to me. Obviously lots of blood today. For tomorrow, let's look. Stocks on my radar. I definitely have to update that now with all this sell-off. Obviously Tesla's back in the wheelhouse at this point. CrowdStrike is going to be my number one move for tomorrow. Maybe something on Celsius, maybe another cash secured put down in the 30s for Celsius. SoFi's back in the wheelhouse. What's Snow sitting at? Snow is even back in the wheelhouse. I know those puts were printing for Garcia, so I hope I get some shout outs in his video. Just kidding. What else? Starbucks, crazy. And obviously since Chipotle came back down, Chipotle's still in the wheelhouse. I looked at Nvidia today, but it's still up a lot. I mean, it's down, but it's still up. I think it is like right at the 50-day moving average, so I'll take a look at that tomorrow as well. That's all for today, guys. Not a lot of moves, but just a lot on the radar for the end of the week. Hope you guys are doing okay. Take care, and God bless.